Hey, David here with Guide Recommended. Thank you so much for signing up. I promise I'm going to make this worth your while. I've got a lot of good stuff, more than you even signed up for. I'm going to be providing you some great fly fishing information. So just a little bit about me real quick, because I don't want to confuse you. So Guide Recommended is a blog that I write on. I've been writing on for years, hundreds and hundreds of articles. Got a YouTube channel as well. But my fly fishing journey started like 30 years ago. And then about 25 years ago, I got into like selling fly boxes, and that's where this email that you're seeing called River Tradition comes from. That's really me. David at River Traditions is me. I sell fly boxes, I sell other fishing stuff there, and really it started out with, you know what, hold on just a second. It started out seriously with, this is my first fly box I made out of a 2x4 like 25 years ago. This right here started a little side business for me, but I've always been into fly fishing. So that's David at River Traditions. That's Guide Recommended. And then I also, since I just am like into this fly fishing thing, I also have a class, a fly fishing class. But let's get to why you signed up with this email, and that is learning how to set up a fly rod for dry fly fishing. So we'll go into it with some close-ups. But as the days go by, I'm going to give you a bunch of other good stuff. I think right below this video, in fact, is a download, a little button you can click, download. It'll be a downloadable PDF showing, you know, the things that we talked about in this video. And then tomorrow, I think, probably two things going to come tomorrow. It's going to be a list of fly fishing tips, 50 tips, just some good general reading, some little wisdom that I've learned over the years, and a checklist with just a pile of stuff. I literally print this checklist out, and I've got it on my fishing stuff just to kind of peruse as I'm getting ready for a trip. It has saved me. I have literally gone on trips before with a canoe. I love fishing rivers, little rivers with canoes, and forgot my paddles in the canoe. So that'll be probably tomorrow. The next day, because I think it's important, I'm going to do a dry or a roll casting video with a PDF. It's like a little snapshot out of my class. So that's enough about that. But let's dig into a close-ups of setting up a fly rod for dry fly fishing. Thanks again. So I spent this time just sketching this up, so I thought I'd go through it. So just some quick anatomy of a dry fly setup. So we got our fly rod, we got our fly line. Usually the fly line will have a loop in the end, and we're going to assume in this setup that your fly line has a loop. I do have some videos that describe how to put a loop on there. So fly lines will be called, you know, weight forward, 5-weight floating, weight forward, 5-weight floating. Those are some of the designations that go through. But fly line green goes into a tapered leader. What we'll be using is a 9-foot tapered nylon tapered leader. That will go into a tippet. So we'll talk about the knot that connects the tippet to the fly. That's a clinch knot. A really fast, simple knot for connecting tippet to your leader. Again, this tippet is basically a disposable little section. As you change flies, you end up nibbling off your fly line and leader. Leaders are a little bit expensive, but a quick little knot there. This is called a double surgeon's knot, and this is going to be a loop-to-loop connection, and I'll show you how to use that same double surgeon's style knot. It's called a double surgeon's loop, to tie that knot as well. And then connecting the fly is our clinch knot. So let me gather up everything, and we'll dig into some close-ups of hooking everything up. Okay. So what do you need in this setup? So I just got one of my old beat up reels I've got here. It's got a weight forward fly line on it, weight forward, and it goes to a 5 weight rod. So just for this example, I got a little travel rod. Makes for good instructions because it's not so long that I end up breaking stuff. So so we got our fly line. We also need a leader. I got 3 different leaders here: 4, 5, 6, 4x 9 foot. All right, 5x 9 foot, 6x 9 foot. So that X number goes back in history, and it talks about actually a diameter. Anymore, it kind of relates back to a breaking strength. So a typical dry fly setup, if I'm doing brook trout, I'll use a 6 weight or a 6x. But for what we're doing, a regular setup, and it'll work for trout, brook trout, bigger trout as well. So, I mean, a 4-pound breaking strength. 5x 9 foot is a good all-around leader, nylon tapered leader. And then with that, we're going to put our tippet. We mentioned it before, so it's good to have. Again, trout fishing, probably 3 different sizes of tippet: 4x, 5x, 6x. So you can match. So we got a 5x leader. Match that leader with tippet, or some folks will go a size smaller. Again, we're creating an invisible link to the fly, as invisible as we can get, right? So that is our leader, and we're going to attach that to the fly line, which has a loop on it. Okay, see that loop there? So I've got a leader out already, and I mentioned a double surgeon's loop. So this is what they call the butt section of the leader, the thickest part of the leader. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. And then it will taper down to actually what's called the tippet section. Okay, the bottom 16 inches of a leader is the tippet section. But we're going to be adding a tippet as well. So let's put that loop on and get this next step. So basically fold it over about 3 or 4 inches, right? So I got it folded over, making a loop, right? I'm going to wrap it once, pull our loop through once, twice, right? That's where the double surgeon's loop is going to look about like that. Now I like to slide that knot up just a little bit, and before I do the last little bit of the cinching down, wet that thing. All right. Now I have a little tool here. It's like a combo nail knot nipper. It's actually got a little pin in it as well for cleaning the eyes on a fly. I like using that rounded off side and tighten that knot down good. That is our loop on the butt section of our leader. The thing with the double surgeon, it doesn't leave the straightest knot. There are other knots that are a little bit straighter, but we're talking about simple, some technicalities there. So, all right, we'll snip that off. All right, you pass one over the other, form a loop, and slide that loop through, right? And then we're going to pull our knot through, forming what they call that loop to loop connection. So you slide that guy down. There it is, loop to loop connection. So our leader is now attached to the fly line. All right, little technique again to learn. Leaders, as they first come out of that package, have some some coil in it, right? So if you pinch it, pull it through, heat it up a little bit, and stretch it, it will take a lot of that out. All right. All right, with our leader, loop-to-loop leader on our fly line, we get to move into putting our tippet on. So again, we have a 5X leader, tapered leader, 5X nylon tapered leader, 9 feet long. We are going to put a matching, pull off about 20 inches with the idea of having about 16 inches left once we get our fly tied on. So got this little fine tippet, and then we've got our leader. Double those over. I'm going to exaggerate it just a little bit. We're going to do about 5 inches. All right. If we can see it there, doubled over. Make a loop. Pass your both the tippet and the leader through the loop once. Pass both the tippet and the leader through the loop twice. Right? Forming that double surgeons. Wet it. Pull all 4 lines down. Pull that tight. So these ends, these loose ends, are called tags. We're going to trim those tags off. Nice thing with this knot, you can trim them relatively close. 1 tag. 2 tags. Alright, so we got that trimmed off. Now, we've got our knot. We get to the end of our tippet, and we're going to attach our fly using a clinch knot. Again, in that download, you're going to get all of this good stuff again. So, little hack, touch your fingers together on both hands as you're tying that knot. Oh, you know what? I see something. That little hack that you get with these little tools. A little bit of glue is in that eye. So use that needle. Clear that glue out. Alright. Got an attractor pattern here. At our end of our tippet. Again, holding, bracing both hands together. Stick that. Oh, come on. I see a little piece of hackle. Kind of hackle on that fly. Kind of pulling it. So, loop it through. Got our fly on there. Right? And at this point, I like to pinch fly here and kind of just twist about 5 or 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get our tag in, and we're going to pass that tag through that loop formed at the base of the fly, grabbing the tag and the fly, start pulling it down, and then at this point, you want to wet. Draw that knot down. I'm hoping you can see that knot. Clip this off. So on the clinch knot, I like to leave about 1/8 of an inch or so of tag on there. So now you have your fly attached to your tippet. Next up, don't forget to put your floating on. Doesn't take much. This stuff goes a long ways. After a while, the grip on your fly rod will start to get a little bit impregnated with this. So, tail, body, right? That abdomen area. Make sure you get that. Rubber legs. Make sure you get those. I like to kind of do it sequentially. Rubber legs. rubber legs, that front hackle area, and then the wing, right? You're not done yet. It's good to let this dry before you start casting. The other thing I like to do, apply a little bit to that tippet and your leader in your knot. It just helps it float. Nylon will naturally float. This is nylon leader and tippet. But as it gets a little bit dirty, floating in the water, it will tend to pull that fly under. So that is attaching or setting up a fly rod for dry fly fishing. So what do we got coming next? Like I was mentioning before, I'm going to send tomorrow a list of 50 fly fishing tips. Along with that, I'm going to attach a PDF with a checklist that I've used for years whenever I go on a fishing trip. And then I think I'm going to jump into or steal a little section out of my paid course. It's a roll casting lesson. Fun stuff, good stuff. Love the roll cast. Small rivers and other things are perfect for roll casting. You get that brush behind you. Right after that, I think some hacks. I'm going to call them hacks, wader hacks, or knot hacks, hemostat hacks. And then I think I'll jump into introducing my fly fishing course. So thank you, and stick around. Lots of good stuff coming in your inbox and on your video monitor or phone. Thanks. Bye.